It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.
Hey guys, Tyler here. In my last video about William Lane Craig, I responded to the claim that there's evidence of the resurrection, and so for this video, what I'm going to do is respond to yet another video that he had done in the past, talking about how the universe came to being. And so without further hesitation, let us respond to the video and get my personal thoughts and reactions to all of this.
Does God exist?
My personal answer, and perhaps the most scientific answer to this question, is that I have no idea if a God exists or not. That said, I'm largely unconvinced by the argumentations that's been put forth by apologists when it comes down to this whole entire matter. Now, the main reason why I'm not really convinced is because, like a lot of the argumentations that's been put forth by apologists, rely heavily on logical fallacies. They assume that God is real, the universe exists, and therefore God is real. They rely heavily on the watchmaker argument. They rely heavily on presuppositions. And so, because the argumentations that have been brought forth by apologists of these different gods throughout the years have been relying heavily on presuppositions, I'm not really convinced by their own sort of argumentations that have any reasons at all to believe that their God or particular gods do in fact exist. And so I consider the Christian God as well as Zeus and Thor and anything else on the exact same level as I can see right now. However, I'm still open to the possibility because my atheism is not really strong, it's weak. And so there are some atheists out there that do think that there's no God at all. I would not say such a claim myself. I would say I don't know, but I'm not really convinced, based largely on the argumentation.
One approach to answering this question is the cosmological argument. It goes like this: whatever begins to exist has a cause.
Earlier in the response, I said that apologists always use these sort of fallacious argumentation when it comes down to the existence of God. And this right here, I spotted at least two different fallacies when it came down to this argumentation. The first one is a false cause. More or less, a person is presuming that a real or perceived relationship between things means that one is the cause of the other. The second one is begging the question. More or less, the person is presuming a circular argument which the conclusion is included in the premise. So Tyler, why exactly is this argumentation pretty much fallacious? Let's take for example my Godzilla mask. We know for a fact that this Godzilla mask was made in a factory. And how come do we know that Godzilla mask was made in a factory? Well, the main reason why we know it, number one, we know that humans are the ones that create the Godzilla mask. We know that it's made from rubber, and so all these ingredients that we know has a cause and effect for the Godzilla mask. However, just because there are some things that have cause and effect does not mean that every single thing is the result of cause and effect. Let's take for example the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created or destroyed, only converted from one form of energy to another. That means a system always has the same amount of energy unless it's added from the outside. Another example comes directly from the Scientific American. Are virtual particles really constantly popping in and out of existence, or they're merely a mathematical bookkeeping device for quantum mechanics? Vertical particles are indeed real particles. Quantum theory predicts that every particle spends some time as a combination of other particles in all possible ways. These predictions are very understood and tested. Quantum mechanics allows, and indeed requires, temporary violation of conservation of energy. So one particle can become a pair of heavier particles, the so-called virtual particles, which quickly rejoin into the original particle as if they had never been there. If there were all that occur, we would still be confident that it was a weird effect because it was a distinctive part of quantum mechanics, which was incredibly well tested, and it's a complete and Strovan-Woven theory. If any part of it was wrong, the whole structure would collapse. So while it's true that it requires a factory to create this Godzilla mask, or that it requires someone else to create the painting, or somebody else to make a chair and whatnot, or the computer, the truth of the matter is that not everything that we know in the current day universe is the result of a direct cause. Like I said earlier, energy is not the exact same thing as someone making a Godzilla mask, because energy cannot be destroyed or has ever began. And so the idea is like a false equivocation, because not everything that we know so far in nature requires a cause.
The universe began to exist?
That's just simply not true, mostly because the Big Bang never asserts that there was actually a beginning of the universe or something that happened prior to the Big Bang. It never makes such claims. All we know so far is that everything that we know so far has started from a singular point, and gradually, and it continues to expand, the planets started to form, the stars started to form, and everything else started to form. We have no idea, nor the Big Bang have ever stated, that we have any idea what caused it or what happened before the Big Bang. And so this is why I say earlier that I pretty much don't like to make claims that are positive about stuff, because I'd rather say I have no idea than to make assertions about the whole entire universe and then try to prove the assertions. And so that's why I say I have no idea, and that's why it's the most scientific answer for that whole entire cause.
Therefore, the universe has a cause.
No, because the first two premises are not true. Not true in the slightest.
It's quite plausible then that both premises of the argument are true. This means that the conclusion is also true. The universe has a cause. And since the universe can't cause itself, its cause must be beyond the space-time universe. It must be spaceless, timeless, immaterial, uncaused, and unimaginably powerful. Much like God.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that all the premises are true, even though they're not really true, and let's just say that sure, God actually created everything. Well, let's just check the Bible and just see how well God actually measured up when it comes under the claims that the Bible has stated about God, and let's see if right now there's actually contradiction with the science that we currently know. It says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning he called the first day. As you guys can see in the book of Genesis, basically it states that God got like the light from the darkness. However, our current day scientific knowledge is the exact opposite. We now know that there is light before the darkness. And so, on that account, I can also dismiss the idea of the Christian deity. Now, the order in which things are made for Genesis 2 for the creation of the universe contradicts the ideas of Genesis 1. It says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them, and on the seventh day God ended his work in which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day for all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day, and sacrificed it, because that was when he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens of the earth, in which they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. According to Aristotle, first philosophy, or metaphysics, deals with cosmology and the first principles, of which the principle laws of non-contradiction is the firmest. Aristotle says that without the principle of non-contradiction, we cannot know anything that we do know. Another claim in the Bible that is attributed to God is the fact that apparently humans are made from dirt. However, that is not the case in the slightest. We now know for a fact that humans evolved from a great ape ancestor through the process of evolution. The final example of just many, many examples in the Bible is the fact that during Noah's Ark, apparently the Bible has claimed that the water was like so deep that it covered the mountain. We have like no sort of scientific evidence of a flood that is like, so humongous that it covers entire mountains. Like there's no such evidence of Noah's Ark either. And so, based upon what we know so far of the universe, it's safe to say that I could actually just dismiss the claim of the Christian God and put it on the same sort of level as Zeus, as Thor, as Loki, and the rest of the gods that humans have made up. Now, I'm not saying that I have absolute knowledge how the universe came to be. I have no idea how it came to be. However, based upon the science that we know and the descriptions of the events that are described in books like the Bible, I can also, conclude that the trace that's attributed to God in the Bible is not reflective of reality. But what do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. He's your only black friend, so he's your best black friend. I wouldn't trade him for another black friend, because black friends are rare, as you should be aware. He smiles like Richard Pryor, so just sit and stare. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.